I meet hundreds of people at the Glamping Show Americas. Occasionally, my path crosses with someone whose story inspires me. And that's the case with Halley from Ozark Mountain Adventure. She didn't want to compromise when it came to designing her business so she could spend more time at home with her family. But she also didn't want to land herself in trouble with debt and investors adding pressure to her daily life, which would only distract her from her dream. So instead, she faced her setup plan, and now she's attracted hundreds of 5-star reviews from happy guests, while only having to work a few hours a day. Well, today, lucky listeners, you're going to find out exactly how she did it. This is episode 23. Welcome to the Glamping Americas podcast, the place for inspiration about the business of upscale camping, glamping, and luxury outdoor guest accommodations. I'm Sarah Riley from the Glamping Academy, and I'm working with my friends at the Glamping Show Americas to share everything you need to know about new trends, events, business models, and investment potential in the rapidly growing world of luxury camping that delivers an experience. Interest in this industry is exploding, so if you want to be the first to find out what's hot and what's not, subscribe here and check out the show notes for more exciting news and links. And be sure to add the next Glamping Show Americas to your calendar for the 30th of September to the 1st of October 2025 near Denver, Colorado. I can't wait. Before we go over to the interview with Halley, I wanted to share something really exciting with you. Have you heard of the State of the Glamping Industry Report? This is a comprehensive study conducted by Cairns Research. As a premier authority on glamping trends, this report offers unparalleled insights into the sector and its rapid growth. It also talks about consumer behaviours and emerging opportunities. From occupancy rates and revenue trends to guest preferences and sustainability practices, this report is essential for anyone who's thinking of getting involved in the industry and starting a business plan to gain investors and launching a new life in hospitality. And you can now get your hands on a copy. The link is in the show notes to this podcast episode, or you can type into your browser glampingshow.us/industry-report. Let's go over to the interview now. Halley, thank you so much for joining me today. Tell me a little bit about your business and where you are based.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having us. Number one, it was so wonderful meeting you there at the Glamping Show located in Denver, Colorado. I was just drawn to you. And so thank you for that and just the warm welcome. So we have Ozark Mountain Adventure. We're about 4 years old. Didn't have the plan to do glamping at all. Was in a very comfortable corporate job and was there for about 15 years as the chief marketing officer. And, one day I was just, what if? What if I were to do something different so that I could be a stay-at-home mom and find something a little bit different? And so the journey began. We went actually to Colorado, fell in love with glamping, and I thought, how am I going to bring this concept back to Branson, Missouri? Now, you see, Branson, Missouri, we have about 11 million visitors a year, according to the Branson Chamber of Commerce. And so I've always known it to be a tourist town, but I never really capitalized on that. And so to bring something so unique, so different to Branson, Missouri, from the concept of Colorado, bringing glamping here, the journey began. And so about 4 years ago, COVID was happening. People were wanting to get outdoors. It was just the perfect recipe for us to begin this. And it has not been easy, to say the least. There's been a lot of ups and a lot of downs, a lot of wins, a lot of setbacks as well. But now looking at it 4 years later, I'm able to be an at-home mom and work about 2 hours a day and take care of guests, take care of them, make sure they're comfortable, they enjoy the outdoors. We have 60 acres here, about 15 minutes from the beautiful Branson Landing, where there's a lot of restaurants, shops, all of that. So we're nestled perfectly in Branson. And so we just have 3 units here. It's called Ozark Mountain Adventure, and we love it.
What a story. And I love the fact you started this business up to be able to spend more time with your family, to be a stay-at-home mum. And for me, that defines what a lifestyle business is all about. It's about allowing your business to come second and your life to come first, where so many other
Yes.
people, they have it the other way round. And so
Yes.
where I see where someone like you has made that move, for me, I find that awe-inspiring. And I think so many other people are thinking of the same thing too. But before we get into that, tell me a little bit more about the kinds of structures that you've got on your site. You say you've got 3. So what kind of structures are they?
Yes. So I really wanted to create an experience for guests. So I didn't want a cookie cutter place that would be really easy to do. I'm always challenging, I'm always pushing for new and different and better and bigger. And so once we got county approval, we're ready to go. Site 1 was first designed to be just that amazing experience of glamping in the outdoors. So what you can experience is like think about like a safari tent. We actually get the tents from Montana Canvas, which was there at the glamping convention as well. So great to see them. Shout out to them. They are absolutely fantastic vendors to work with. We got their canvas tent, and it is think about this. We provide all of the firewood. We provide anything that you need for camping, cast iron skillet. We have the marshmallow roasters. We have a lighter. We have fire starters. We have everything that you need to have like a campsite outdoors. We have the bathrooms that are located right next to the glamping site. And so when I was designing this, I realized really quick it was going to be a lot more expensive to provide a bathroom at each site versus a community bathroom. So one of the big things that I have personally is I want to make sure that I have my own space. I want to have my own restroom, shower area. I want a very comfortable bed, and I don't want to see my neighbors. And I love hosts, but I don't want 15 different things that I need to check in and then meet them and greet them and stuff. I want everything to be self-sufficient. I want to get something via email of this is your gate code. I don't want a lot of traffic by here. There was just several things that I personally liked that I wanted to make sure that I implemented into all 3 glamping sites that I have. And so we accomplished that. That was high demand, and I'm cash flowing it. I wasn't sure if this would work or not. And so I'm just doing one at a time. And so I didn't want to get a big bank loan. I didn't want to have that overhead, that pressure. I would feel like that was the corporate pressure again. And so I waited for the demand for number 2. And then when designing number 2, the way that the sewer and septic had to work, it had to flow down the hill because it's gravitated it down. And so it's almost in not a sinkhole, but it is also it's a little downhill. So I had to get structurally creative with it. And it was during COVID, and you really couldn't go to the store. Lumber was really expensive. And I was out hiking actually on the property, and I saw this beautiful rock, huge, huge rock. And I said, what if I were to use that as a headboard and call Site 2 Bedrock? And then I could just repurpose the stuff that is right here on the land. And so site number 2 is cleverly called Bedrock.
Love
So
that.
grabbed that rock with a skid steer and took it downhill to site 2 and planted the rock into the ground 3 feet. And then the concrete guy came to pour the nice stamped, dyed concrete for the platform of the tent. And he just looked at me like, what in the world are you doing? And he said, this is actually really clever. It's different, but I was just recycling the things that we have right here on the property. So then that just kind of kept the same theme throughout the duration of building this site. And then it met the county regulations as far as the septic, and it funnels all 3, potentially 4 whenever we have that demand. But it all worked out great. And then so when you look at this glamping site, so I have a Montana canvas, I have the bed is the rock that I found on the trail, and then the springs of the bed is a rock as well. And then you have your springs, and then you have your mattress. So when you open up the Montana canvas tent, you see just everything is rock.
Wow.
So it is a little different, very unique. And then when you go into the bathroom to carry out that same theme, I have the sink actually on a huge rock as well, hence bedrock. So that's site 2.
That's amazing.
So when the demand came for site 3, I wanted it a little different, of course. And so I just was thinking like, what do I want to experience? Okay, so I have the pioneer, I have kind of the rustic, I have the bedrock. What if it were to be like a treehouse? And so I just started to brainstorm of, I want like just one stair because site two bedrock, there are 12 stairs that are rock that lead you down to the glamping site that's tucked into the woods. And then the treehouse, I wanted it to be up high, and so you are in a tree house with a Montana canvas tent for glamping. So those are the three themes that we have. Site number 4, the demand is there. We have the cash flow. This season was very, very lucrative for us, and so we're very blessed in that perspective. And so that is going to be more of like a spa. So it's going to have like the rocks. We have a lot of rocks. This is Ozark Mountain country, and so there are a lot of rocks with moss and the black rocks with the shades of greens and blacks and grays, and they're just gorgeous rocks. And so I'm going to drill a hole in the middle of these huge rocks. We're talking like rocks that are about 4 foot tall, you know, very wide, 5 feet wide. So not like a little river rock, so to speak, but massive rocks. And then I'm going to put a pump up the middle of the rock, and so it's going to be a waterfall. So site 4 is going to be one level and a spa kind of
Wow.
theme.
That's
So
amazing.
thank you. It's more than glamping to me. To me, it's creating an experience. What do you remember when you leave? We have the trails, we have 7 springs that are here on property, but it's also when you are unplugging, we do not have TVs, we don't have any electronic devices, so to speak, but it's just to be out in nature and to unplug from the hustle and bustle that corporate America is used to, and just to relax and be with your person.
So, who have you had so far? Have you had a general theme of people? So, is it young city folk coming out to break away from the corporate world, or is it people seeking a bit of romance, couples? Is it families? What kind of people are being attracted to your site?
Oh, that's a great question. I would say primarily we do get a lot of like single parents. So that's the mom with a child that she's not very comfortable in the woods, so to speak, alone. She feels very safe. Whenever you book with us, we send you a passcode, and that passcode is to get you behind the gates. So there's not a lot of traffic. There's not a lot of people. Like I said, only 3 sites. So that mom or that dad with their child will feel comfortable and safe. So that's really big for me. So I would say a lot of single parents that they don't have all of the equipment for the tent. So you just have to, when you stay with us, grab your go bag. That's my point. Shampoo, conditioner, everything's included with that. Grab your go bag, enjoy camping. You're cheating a little bit, I would say, with the heating and the air conditioning, but it's one of those that I would say single parents for sure is one of our marks. And then couples that are traveling through the United States, because Branson's located in the middle, pretty much the middle of the United States. They're traveling to and from. And then they get here and they say, oh my goodness, I had no idea that a place like this even existed. And then they extend their stay. So a lot of travelers, and then I would say the third group of individuals that we receive are a lot of outdoorsy people, but maybe the spouse, they're not rustic. They're not outdoors. They don't like bugs. They don't like that kind of stuff. And we could accommodate both of those types of individuals with the accommodations that we have located here at Ozark Mountain Adventure. So we're getting a lot of the repeats of, hey, we stayed in, the tree house. Let's experience the bedrock.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are sharing their story with other people, and we are getting a lot of individuals as we continue to grow from France and Spain and Australia. We just had a couple last night that was from the Ukraine. And
Wow.
so I think that is amazing that the glamping story is more than just the people in our backyard. It's the people that globally, or, internationally are around the US, around the world wanting to experience something like glamping.
Absolutely, because glamping is definitely a worldwide trend, and many people in the Ukraine are actually doing it, and they're starting up businesses. I know that they're obviously involved in other things in the country, but it's a huge country. And so on the
Yeah.
far western rim and the boundary of the country, there's so many people taking part in all of these activities and starting new businesses. I recently interviewed someone about that very thing. But there was a couple of things that you talked about there when you were introducing your site. The first thing I think is fantastic, which you're focusing on, which is to give people different things to take part in. So, as you said, they're coming, they're staying in one, and they're saying, next time, I'm going to stay in that. And that is so good for your repeat booking numbers, which is perfect. And then the other thing you said, which was about phasing, you did not want to get into a lot of debt starting your business. So you decided to phase it. And that for me, again, is really good for people who are starting small and wanting to build up as they go, because it takes
Yes.
the pressure off, doesn't it, from all of those
It
loans, the
absolutely does.
loan payments. And I think that
Yes.
is fantastic what you've done there. And there was one other thing as well. You were talking about setbacks. You had some setbacks. You were hinting there that you had some problems. Was that with your approval process?
Yes, that was definitely with the approval process with glamping. When you buy a piece of land, which, in 2016 is whenever I purchased this property, I just purchased it. I mean, it was 60 acres. It was across the street, lived in a, 6,000 square foot house, but land came up for sale and I just purchased the land. I'm not a farmer. I didn't know why I purchased it. It just, they're not making any more land nowadays. And so I thought it would be a really great thing to maybe turn around and sell later on. And I didn't forget about the property, but I just let it sit there. And whenever I started to, when I fell in love with glamping in Colorado and I wanted to bring the concept back, it was like the path was already paved for me. I just had to do the work. And so when dream, you dream big. And I didn't have this crazy engineering plans because engineering plans are very expensive. I did it by myself. And, engineering something like that can be very costly, very timely. But I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest with you. I was doing things that felt right, with the trees and every place that I have a glamping site, I camped there as well before making that happen. Which way does the sun come up? Which way does it set? I wanted to create a really nice experience for guests. But, when you purchase the land and you sit on it and then you decide that you want to do something with it, this is a free country. And so you feel like you can do whatever you want to on the property. Well, that's not the case. And so it was raw land. So I had to get infrastructure into the property. That means getting permission from the neighbors across the street to make sure that I can get electric so that I could then power it. Also, if you have power lines, which I do not want to look at, you have to cough up like 30 feet on both sides of the power line. So you're giving up more of your land. Well, I didn't want to do that. So if you go underground, it's a lot more costly, but it's better. It's not as much of an eyesore, but you only have to cough up 15 feet for an easement for the electric line. So I ask all my neighbors, can I get in? Can I cut in here? And so I have a lot of frontage from the road. So I had about 4 different neighbors and none of them let me in.
Oh,
And so what that meant is that I had to go to the very end of the street where the universal system was, where it was owned by the electric company. So I had to start on 60 acres at the far corner of the property. That was an additional about $90,000 to run electric because nobody would let me in across the street for the overhead for electric. So
yeah.
that was definitely a setback. So there's a lot of things like that. Once I got all of that stuff together, then I had to go for county approval for that. You're doing soil testing. There's a lot of things that goes into making sure that you're up with the county regulations, and all regulations are different for your area, but check those regulations if you're thinking about starting a glamping site, because it's really important to make sure that you uphold all of that. And so whenever I went to the county meeting, I've never had my name on the board. I've never received a speeding ticket. I feel like I'm a fairly good citizen. And 90 neighbors came to shoot down the idea of why it was a horrible idea.
Mm.
And for 2 hours, they told me why I should not bring glamping to Branson. And so my closing statement, you get a closing statement, and I just said, you know what, just let me fail. give me an opportunity to fail. And at the time, like I said, I was at my corporate job. I didn't need to do glamping. I was very comfortable, fantastic organization. And I was sitting there many times of, why am I doing this? Why I just feel like it's in my heart that I need to do this. And so it passed 7-1 vote. And I was really nervous. I was really nervous until I came back on the property, and I had a piece about it of, I'm supposed to do this. I'm
Mm.
supposed to do this. And so that's, that grit that people talk about. That's what it is for me. And now they're great. The neighbors are fantastic. We have my goal this year was over 400 5-star Google reviews, which is very difficult to do. Met that. People are happy, but we pour our heart into making sure that every single guest is happy and doing anything that we can to make sure that they stay happy and that they just enjoy the great outdoors with glamping.
So first of all, I have to say, wow about your reviews. I mean, that's fantastic. What a
Thank
target. And the
you.
fact that you actually met that target, that really does prove to everybody it was a great idea that you did what you did. But also, I want to congratulate you for your grit because you did not come from a background of hospitality. You were in marketing, you were in a
No.
corporate position. You didn't know how to deal with all of these things. And you're not alone when it
Oh,
comes to the permissions. I have to say, there are so many people that go through the same, but you kept on going. And personally, I think a lot of it is down to a misunderstanding. People don't understand the hospitality and the glamping industry and actually what it
yeah,
means. And I
yeah,
also think that unfortunately, some businesses in some places have made people wary because maybe they haven't been as good and supportive of their local community. But the
yeah,
fact that you kept going, even though you had what it must have felt at the time, the whole world against you, I have to say,
yeah.
that's just amazing. Zach, you must feel incredible now that you've got now 3 sites, almost 4, and you're getting so many good reviews. How has that made you feel?
I don't feel any different, to be honest with you. We have, all sites are checked in, tonight. 3 people are coming here. And it's always so exciting for me. I don't really pause and think, wow, I did this. It's always, what can I do better? What can I do next? I wonder what kind of individuals are coming. Are they going to want to hike? We give tours here on the property for free. We show them the springs. Like, I pour into each relationship that will arrive here. But some want that time alone, and that's totally fine. But if they're like, hey, let's go hike, or it's I just think about the next guest experience, not really of what I've done or what I've accomplished, or I don't really think about that, to be honest with you. It's, what can I do for my community? What can I give back? How can I help other glamping people that were in my same situation of, like, you're not alone. Going to the glamping convention, I was so nervous to go there in Denver, and the cost, and being away from the glamping sites and shutting things down for 3 solid days to fly out there and to invest time into that. That was the one of the best things that I've done as a business owner. It was go there because I feel like sometimes I'm on an island by myself. And, like, I have a dream book. I gotta brag on you real quick. I have a dream book, and in my dream book, it is to talk about glamping and share the experience with people from around the world. If I can help somebody be more successful, then that makes me feel good as a person. And so in my dream book, our conversation that we have is actually in that dream book because I wanted to meet somebody there at the glamping convention. I wanted to share our story with Ozark Mountain Adventure, Branson, Missouri, the community, the powerful community that we have here, but then talk about it across the globe. And so you are, Sarah, helping me fulfill that dream that I have there. But it's always bettering yourself, like bettering your business, bettering your company, always goal. And so I don't generally pause to think, wow, I've done this. Okay, I'm always like, okay, what's next? What are we doing? Let's go. So setting strategic goals is really good for me, and that was one of my strategic goals, was the Google reviews, because like I said, you are on an island on your own sometimes, but that glamping convention allowed me to meet other people that are like-minded like me, that you're not alone. And, calling my friends of like, "Hey, I'm gonna be on a podcast today," that's a win for us because we're sharing the story. And maybe there's a listener today that's like, "I want to reach out, and I want to talk with Sarah. I want to talk with Haley and get some of that inside information of how can I do this?" I'm in
Yeah.
corporate America, or I'm in a corporate job right now. How can I get out of this?
Mm.
And there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I believe absolutely you have hit the nail on the head. And to be part of your story is just an absolute pleasure for me. And I know that we had so many good conversations at the glamping show. It was just a really lovely experience. There were so many people there to talk to. It was just lovely
Yeah.
networking. So I completely agree with you there as well. It's such a good show to go to if you have any interest at all in the glamping industry. And it's in Colorado. So, it is
Yeah.
a flight, but it's kind of, it's a really easy place because flights are so great. But one of the things I wanted to talk to you about as well was because you have such good background at marketing, you obviously realize that building the structures and building the site is only a tiny part of the journey. And you have
Yes.
to do your marketing to attract your guests and to keep the occupancy up and to keep people engaged and to build your social media channels and everything else that comes with marketing. And so you clearly have your background and your knowledge and your skills in that area. So it's perfect for you. So, what would you say has been the best part of what you've done to generate interest in your site and getting guests?
Well, that's very sweet of you. And I just do my best. I feel like we all have our talents, and I just picked up the marketing talent, I think, but I enjoy it. I love doing the marketing side of things. And it's interesting because it's completely different. Hotel restaurant industry is completely different than what it was, let's say 10 years ago. And so for us, located here in Branson, Missouri, the best thing that we can do is all social media platforms. We're talking Facebook is going to be a different market than, let's say, our TikTok users. LinkedIn is a really great indicator for us. And you think, well, how does LinkedIn have anything to do with glamping? Well, it does, because the mental health and the where you're able to give your associates in the corporate world a time off to say, "Hey, you know what, Sarah? I appreciate what you're doing for us as an organization. Your sales were out of the roof, but you know what? You're about to lose 2 weeks of vacation time. I want you to go to Branson, Missouri, and I want you to experience this glamping. It's just unplug from everything, leave your phone down, and do that." And we have corporate packages that I've created, that I've marketed, that what we do is I'll package 10 night stays together, and there is a weekend, so they can go on the weekend, they can go holidays, they can go during the weekday, anytime during the year, or and that's the most expensive one, or they could go any time during the weekday, like a Sunday through Thursday, no holidays included, and it's much cheaper rate, but you can do 10 or you could do 5. And so I will, in the off season, quote unquote, I will go to different businesses and have people invest into their associates for job well done, anniversaries, whatever that might be. In their people, what we're finding back, because I will then turn around and I'll say, "Hey, Sarah, you're the business owner. Sarah, Ryan's coming and he's staying. Hey, tell me, what can I leave in the room for Ryan? What are some of his favorite things that he enjoys? And if it's wine, or if it's chocolates or dark chocolate or whatever that is, that little touch of personal touch that Ryan is going to say, man, Sarah is a really great boss." And I'll write a letter, "Hey, thank you for your service and commitment of 15 years here at the business. Our best years are yet to come. We really appreciate you and everything that you're doing. Thank you." And then your company name. And so I try to put that personal touch for businesses, putting that out there on LinkedIn so that other businesses will gravitate to that as well, that being a social media platform. TikTok, I'm a 40-year-old lady. I don't tend to think that my life is super exciting, but I guess it kind of is. One of the other things that I said, if I was going to do this glamping business, because excavating can be very expensive, is I said, if I'm going to do this, I want to learn how to run the skid steer. I want to learn how to drive the excavator, the dump truck. I want to be hauling these materials with the help of some others, but I want to be able to do that as well. And so sometimes it's just, getting on a TikTok platform or, Instagram or whatever it is, whatever platform I feel like would be best marketed for that. And I'll just press record. And hey, today here's how you drive a dump truck, and here's what we're doing, and this is what you got to do and stuff. And so to get somebody like myself who was in the corporate world, driving a dump truck is rather funny. And so we get a lot of individuals seeing that, and then when they get here, they know your story, they see you've marketed yourself well, and so it almost becomes a destination for them to want to see, the river, the pond that you built, the spring that you dug up a little so that the water from the spring will come down and it'll pool up and you have a swimming hole. So you're creating your story with your audience of social media. And that is what I have personally found has been the best marketing pitch that I could do is through social media platforms.
Because people are looking for their holidays in different ways now. It's not just pulling up Google, looking for an OTA, an online travel agent, and then booking something that way. Of course, we have people who do that, but
Yeah.
there's so many other ways now. And one of the things that you've talked about is providing your guests with a backdrop and all kinds of other things to encourage them to take selfies and to take pictures and to share that on social media. So that what they're doing effectively is promoting your site for you.
Yeah.
So what are the
Yes.
kind of things that you've dripped in to allow them to do that?
I think just giving them the ideas. Whenever I am out hiking or walking or something and you see them, and let me get a picture of you guys. When we have a swimming hole down below some of the glamping sites that three springs they funnel into this swimming hole that you can experience. And so above the top of the bridge, I have our logo. Different things like that it's easy for people to see that it would be a great place. We have places that I've staged for pictures, and then you have the timer on your phone. So I have a docking station almost area right across from the place that you would be taking your picture where you can easily mount your phone and then you press, picture, and then you can run back into the photo. So creating a really nice experience for the couple that is staying here. So being mindful of that, I think is good because people will take pictures, but you got to be smart about it too. And when someone else shares their journey and their story, that is such a big marketing win out there. That's huge, and we don't pay travel writers. That's a whole different industry, and you can partner with your chamber, and it's a great opportunity. We're just not there yet, but you can partner with travel writers and have them stay and all that. This is just all organic reaches that we are receiving and that we're doing. So creating that space, that safe space that allows people to easily take pictures of themselves and they share the story.
No, I love that. And having your hashtag as well somewhere clear within reach so that people can actually then put the hashtag in a social media post. The other thing that I've found has worked really well is when a little competition is offered, for the guest this year who does the best social media image or video or whatever and shares it on social media with our hashtag will get this gift or will get this free stay
Yeah.
or money off the next stay or an extra night stay, adding an extra night onto their stay the next time they come, things like that. It really works so well. People love it. And they
Yeah.
also just love bragging about what they've been doing. It's all about their self-brand, isn't it? So look at
Yes.
me in this amazing place
Yeah.
with all of this
Yeah.
backdrop and doing stuff that you've probably never done before. And
Yep.
oh my goodness me, the amount of good coverage that you can get in PR for that. And
Mhm.
so have you used any other techniques that have helped you get guests? Have you worked with any influencers or anything like that?
No influencers. We're year 4, and so we're building everything ourselves. So if I had the capacity, absolutely, I would do that. So I have to go a different route. And I'll say one of the things that also led me to glamping was, anytime that I would go on vacation, I wouldn't see too many people that are under 40 on vacation. And I think that that's very important to me to travel with family. And so we would travel all the time. And, taking that leap of faith through glamping, it was definitely for me of, okay, well, I'm going to be able to travel and experience different things. For example, we went to the Grand Canyon and I learned all about light pollution. They had a stargazing event. It was led by their conservation department that's there, the park rangers. And it was just a little sign on the desk there of the hotel that we were staying at. And it said, stargazing tonight. And I thought, well, that's different. I've not ever experienced that before. Well, it sounds slightly cheesy, but you know what? We'll experience it. We'll go and we'll do it. Well, Sarah, I went there and it was like, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night. There are thousands of people that are out here doing the stargazing. The shuttle, like the space station flew over. They pointed at that. They have a green laser pointer and they pointed at that. We looked at all Saturn, several of the planets that were there, and it was so educational and so fantastically done that I thought, I got to bring that back to Branson. And so through vacation, through being able to do glamping and have the freedom to go on vacation to experience these things, well, now we just held last Friday our second annual stargazing event here in Ozark Mountain Country. And so when I came back to Branson, I thought, okay, there's got to be somebody that is doing this. So the Springfield Astronomical Society, they are a nonprofit organization, and there are a group of about 60 people that this is what they do. Now, Sarah, they talk over my head, and they're very, very, very intelligent individuals. Several of them are certified through NASA of different specialties that they have that they partner with NASA. So these are the legit individuals that are fantastic, great to talk with, very educational program. And so I joined their group. And so once a month, we'll go up to Springfield, which is about 30 minutes away from Branson. And then we'll meet with them, learn about the different stars and things that are going on and new moons and everything that's going on there. And then we bring that back. They'll set the day of, the perfect timing for that. And so my entire point of that is getting out and experiencing things that you enjoy doing. Be open to new ideas, bringing that back to your hometown. And it's all via donation. So we don't charge anything. I market it. I do all of that stuff. I'll go to the radio. I'll bring one or two of the individuals that are part of the nonprofit organization to the radio studio. We'll talk about it. It's great co-branding with us. And then people will come out. We don't charge them anything for it, but it's awareness of your organization, an educational awareness. And it's really cool. I have really have grown to love it. And that's something that you can do. And it doesn't cost a dime, so you can get creative with different things that you like as a business owner and do that. And it'll just grow from there.
And what a great opportunity as well to dive into something that you're already really passionate about, but you can actually make it work for your business as well and help you bring in lots of new guests and have them talking about the experiences they've had and how amazing it was and giving you lovely reviews. And as somebody who absolutely adores looking at the stars but knows very, very little about any of it, the magical moments that I have had with my family, just looking at the
Yeah.
shooting stars and the satellites going over. And actually, we're really fortunate that the space station goes right over our garden. So exactly the same
Oh,
thing.
wow.
We're so lucky every single time it's in this part of the world. So just the magic, the sheer bliss of all of that, and then being with your loved ones while it's happening in
Yeah.
nature and hearing all the nature sounds. I mean, this is the heart of glamping, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you were speaking to somebody who was considering doing something like you are doing and is very much at the beginning of their journey and is thinking, oh my goodness, Hallie's done it, maybe I could do it. What would you say to them? What would you say to them in terms of encouraging them to go forward and encouraging them to take the next step in their journey?
Yeah. So I would encourage them to do it, but create something that you love. And so one of the things that always helped me was, you know what, if this doesn't work, I'm going to have some really close friends that are here to stay. And so creating something that I love And that's kind of where I started with it. It wasn't some master plan. It wasn't a plan that I purchased. It wasn't, like the engineering plans. It wasn't anything like that. I just started it small and then worked up and got it bigger. Let's say instead of maybe, going both feet in, maybe you have some land and you just want to create some trails and you open the trails up to the public. And then get their feedback and what do they like, and then just creating that experience with people. And then maybe it's a little bit of a patio and you can rent for events, or then going into glamping, easing yourself into it is okay. But if you want to go the other side of it and go full force, I would say team up with people that have done it, because I will be happy to share with anybody the left turns that I made and how to prevent you from doing those left turns before you get a big loan out and learning all the ins and outs kind of the hard way. I've been able to make the left turns easy. Or, I'm starting to turn left and then, oh, we got to go right. Okay. But giving yourself grace as well during this process. It's not going to go always according to plan. That's just kind of life. Jumping both feet in and saying, okay, here we go. We got this. And I will never forget, Sarah, the first time that a glamping guest booked, I
Right.
was crying because I'm like, they want to stay with me. Like they just booked. Like, this is real. Okay, someone's going to check in on Friday evening. And so, the sweet couple, I'll never forget them. They checked in, but they don't know that it's your first time opening for glamping or anything. But as they were leaving, I walked down and I just said, hey, you're our first glamping guest. And they were just so encouraging. And they were, this place is beautiful. We've never heard of it before. I did not tell them, well, there's good reason you haven't heard of it, because we've been doing all the work ourselves. But it's just, that feeling was so powerful in that you've created a space that people want to experience, and it didn't happen overnight. And you have to allow yourself a lot of grace, a lot of patience, and surround yourself by healthy, positive people that want the best for you, because there's a lot of us out there that want to encourage you and to do something challenging. And every single thing that we've done here, it's not been successful, but we've allowed ourselves to have grace and to go for it.
Oh, Halley, it's just been such a pleasure talking with you today. And I also hope very much that you will be at the next glamping show. And so if anybody wants to speak to you in more depth about what you've done and what you'd recommend, I think they would
Yeah.
get so much from it.
Yes. And one of the things that we weighed all of that of, should we close down our glamping site for 3 days? Yes, you need to do it, because towards the end of the season, you need a break, number one, but two, finding those deep rooted friends of individuals that are like minded. They're in the same place as you. And, some people, they were building sites overseas or, in the America or, wherever. There's all different walks of life, all different age groups of different people that are getting on board with this, but listening to the success stories. And, year one, I'll be honest, I just went to the expos, and the expos last year was free. It was included. And so I spent 2 days at the expos because I wasn't sure what to expect. Next year, I will be joining the different speakers, the guests that are there, the hosts, all of that other additional stuff. So coming from someone that is very frugal and making sure that my time is well spent, do everything that you can in the glamping area. It does cost a little bit, but it is such a fantastic investment for you, for your business, and you meet some lifelong friends. We are still talking with individuals that were from the glamping business, and it's so nice and so rewarding and so encouraging for that. So do the glamping business, do the glamping seminar next year, but do the expo and then also do the seminars that they host there too, because it's such great quality individuals, information, and you're not alone. You're
Mm.
not alone.
If it's one thing that people do often say to me, it's that they do feel like they are a little bit on their own until they start reaching out and they start getting mixed in with all these different networks that are available for them. There's nothing worse than feeling like you're on your own, struggling uphill with decision making, with maybe you've had a bad review or any number of things can make you feel like you've had a knockback. And
Yes.
it's interesting how we always remember the bad things more than we remember the good things. And sometimes we need to be reminded that we've come so far and we've done so much, we've achieved so much. And you get that when you're mixing with people who are like-minded and they know what you're going through. So for me, I agree with what you're saying, and I absolutely hope you'll be there, and I'll definitely be there. So I'll be able to see you and we'll be able to have a good catch up. So that would be really lovely.
That would
So
be great.
if somebody wants to see your website and if they want to get in touch and they want to visit, tell me where they need to go.
Yes. Well, thank you for this plug for sure. And thank you for today. I mean, like I said, I have my dream book that my friend Michelle told me to do when starting this business, and I did it. And so today is one of the bucket list check offs that I am able to do. So thank you for that. And thank you for the partnership, Sarah. And I'll say at the Glamping convention, you have to put yourself out there. You have to network and you talk with people and, where are you guys from? And, those healthy conversations. And then take business cards. I took probably 60 different business cards with me and I handed each one out and I was intentional about it. And I would encourage them to do that as well. So yes, 100%, I will be there next year and I'm going to the different sessions that they will outline for us as well in the
Wonderful.
expo. Oh, and the tacos, and they had the rooftop thing, and it was just so fantastic and great ideas there. A lot of great friends, but we will be there as well. But if you want to get a hold of us, our website is Ozark, Ozark, MTN for Mountain Adventure, Adventure, Ozark Adventure.com, or look us up on any social platform that we have, Ozark Mountain Adventure, and we're located in Branson, Missouri.
Fabulous. Well, I'll definitely include all of that in the show notes. So people, all they need to do when they're listening to you is click open the notes, click on the link. Easy as
Oh,
pie.
thank you.
They can come and visit your website, check you out, get in touch through your social media channels and continue the conversation. And hey, Halley, it's just been a wonderful conversation today. Thank you so much. Really
Agreed.
inspiring. And I can't wait to hear more about your journey as you start to expand your business.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. And great job on the podcast. You have so many great individuals that are there. And just for you to consider us, we really appreciate it.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.